Welcome back to Good, Better, Broker and our 100th episode. Justin White alongside a very special guest, our president and CEO, Mat Ishbia. Matt, great to have you here as we celebrate this milestone.
No, great to be here with you. Excited about it. It's been an awesome podcast. I know so many people get so much value out of it. I get value out of it, so excited to be here with you.
Matt, we've had so many amazing guests join us. So for this episode, we're actually going to take a look back at your favorite moments from the first 99. So let's kick it off, Matt, with Eric Katz. He joined us for episode 89, still one of our most popular episodes, all about how to nail the first 90 seconds of a sales call.
Yeah, no, well, Eric Katz, obviously, he's done a great job. He was retail, converted over to wholesale. I think he has 200 people at his company. He's doing amazing things, like great salesman, doing a lot of great things, helping his originators. But I loved how he broke down like how LOs should approach client calls and like how you take care of that and like how you take advantage. Like he did an amazing job. I mean, I thought there was a lot of value in that. Hopefully people did as well.
It's a very direct to the point part of the sales call. Is a lot of customers just want to know, like, why are we on the phone? I received a piece of mail. What is this about? I put some information online and now I'm on the phone with you. Why are we talking? And it's just kind of get right to the point and let our customer know exactly why we're on the phone. And if you really hammer those points home in the first 90 seconds, you're going to have an engaged client.
Yeah, that exactly speaks to those first 90 seconds of a call. And you may not be able to win a sales call in those first 90 seconds, Eric, but you can absolutely lose a call. Take us through why that first minute and a half is so crucial.
You're exactly right. You can absolutely lose a call. You could lose a call in the first 10 seconds. I think a lot of loan officers sometimes really do forget that you are on a sales call. And a sale is making somebody do something they wouldn't have done otherwise. That's what I always say. That's a real sale. And when somebody's on the phone, their main objective is to really just obtain information. That's really why they're calling you. They just, what is this about? They ask you blanket questions like, what's your rate? And when you do a really good job of setting the tone of a conversation in those first 90 seconds, and you let them know that, listen, like, I'm a professional. I've been doing this a long time. I'm not here to waste your time whatsoever. I'm here to go over whatever refinance options you have. And you sound energetic and you really captivate your audience and you speak confidently, you're really going to have their ear right away. I think confidence in all aspects of life always grabs everyone's attention. But if you're monotoned and you sound disengaged or you're multitasking, they're going to hear it, they're going to feel it, and they're going to turn it off right away and just say, I'm not interested, and get off the phone.
All right, so what are the most important aspects of really nailing that first 90 seconds? And you were alluding to some of these things a couple of minutes ago with having an intro that's repetitive, being enthusiastic, knowing your stuff. But to you, how do you set yourself up for success in those first 90 seconds?
I would always start off my phone calls the exact same. I mean, like, somebody's going to throw you a curveball and they're going to cut you off and you kind of have to adapt at that point. But, the who you are, who we are, why we're talking, like that basic sales premise has always created success among myself and my peers. And your tone, it's very important. If you and me were talking and I was talking to you like this, like, you're going to get disengaged. But if I raise my voice and I start getting excited, you're going to get excited. And I can watch your eyes get bigger and I can tell people at home are getting excited. And it's just very important to remember those basic sales functions on the phone, that they can't see you, they can't touch you, they're not right in front of you, but they can definitely hear you. And little things like talking with a smile, like if I start smiling this entire time, my voice is just going to sound different. But if I grimace and I'm like it's just the entire phone call changes right away. So I really think it's important to sound enthusiastic, to sound educated, to sound like you're a professional, and really make sure that at the same time you have an engaged customer. Because in my business model, our phone rings all day long. And if you have a customer that genuinely is disinterested and does not want to give you the time of day, it is okay to kind of put that phone call to a decision right away and say, listen, like, this is why we're talking. If you just called in to yell at me or to tell me to stop giving you a piece of mail, that's okay. We'll put you on a do not call list, still move on. But it's okay to, ask your client to give you, their ear at the same time.
All right, up next in our look at Matt's favorite moments, part of our conversation with Andi Numan from episode 64. Matt, this one was all about refi mastery.
Yeah, a lot of people think, refis aren't that prominent right now. Andi Numan's one of the best in the industry at refis. Swift Home Loans are doing great things. Like, trying to figure out, like, ways to save the borrower money, whether it's cash out, whether it's rate and term. How do you help people? No matter what rates you're doing, they're always willing to find a benefit to the borrower. Andy does an amazing job. And on that podcast, I thought it was just awesome.
The biggest problem is that we assume too much. That's the biggest problem. We're always assuming that everyone, one, is in the best spot. The only thing that we can assume or should assume is like, can you get them a better rate? The answer is no, if you know what their current rate is and their values. But we shouldn't make assumptions about people's lives, right? So things change constantly. Constantly things are changing. You don't know what happened from when you closed that loan to modern day, right? Or present day. You know, someone could have had a decrease in pay. They could have gotten a new job. They could have been laid off. Their spouse, something could have happened. Anything could have happened. So the fear of us reaching out to somebody or just checking in on someone that already has a sub 5 or a sub 6%, it shouldn't exist, because you never know what you can do for that person that's going to dramatically change their financial picture, and they'd be extremely grateful for it. Because you got to remember that we know way more about mortgages than any of the clients that we help. So there are a lot of people out there that don't know they can tap into their equity or don't know they can consolidate debt, that just need a little bit of room around their collar, you know, to help them breathe a little bit.
I think it's such a great point, because, you know, intuitively, if you were in that situation that you just talked about, where, say, you know, a spouse lost their job or there was some kind of, you know, change in their financial situation, the first call that most people out there are going to make is likely to their financial advisor, right? Mm-hmm. To see where they can kind of pare back, maybe in terms of some investments. Whereas they're not going to necessarily think about their mortgage broker or their LO as that possible person who's going to provide a solution. Right. But what you're saying is, for all brokers out there, for LOs, you can absolutely be that person.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, for the most part, us Americans have problems. You know, what type of problems there are, who knows? But a lot of Americans have financial problems. And if you can be that solution, why wouldn't you offer yourself up to be that solution, for, especially for your past client?
You know, Matt, a conversation about refinances usually involves home equity. And we did a deep dive on that topic with Sullivan in episode number 80.
Yeah, no, Ann's a winner across the board, does great things in Pennsylvania. And like hearing her talk about like how you can help the homeowner realize there's equity in the house and how do you use it? Whether it's, you know, brokers have an opportunity really to educate borrowers on how do you leverage that equity? How do you use that equity? And like she does a great job educating her clients. Like she's always fascinating to listen to and does a great job on there.
I think people have such a hard time getting past but I have this low interest rate and it's so good for my mortgage. And that's true. I don't want to tell people that that's not true. It's very true. And a 2.5% or a 3% rate feels really nice, but I would challenge people to do their due diligence and dig through, what is your interest rate on your credit card? Is it 35%? Is it 25%? Like, there's a little number on your credit card statement that's like, if you make your minimum payments, it's going to take you maybe 15 years to pay off this credit card of $10,000, $15,000. And that it's sickening, honestly. It's tough to palate that information as a consumer, let alone as a lender, when we have a fiduciary responsibility to our clients to help them be in a better financial position.
Yeah, you and I were talking about this before the interview. You know, everybody seems to know exactly what their mortgage rate is, but hardly anybody knows what their credit card rate is.
No, they don't know anything really about what their credit card rate might be. And I'm going to be really honest with you. Like, my daily credit card, I couldn't tell you what the interest rate is. No clue. I'm just as guilty of it. So it's like one of those things that people kind of just are like, well, my payment, again, driving back to the payment, that's what they're concerned about. When I was in the car business many, many lifetimes ago, people come in, I want a $250 a month car payment. Well, that's what people are focused on. They're focused on their well-being. They're focused on their financial picture of what their monthly expenses are for the most part. If, you know, they're not in a financial position to be a bit more savvy with their money, which a lot of people aren't.
So when you sit down with a borrower and you're going to help them determine if they are a good fit to do a debt consolidation loan, what factors are you looking at? What questions are you asking them?
I really want to find out I want to know what their short-term goals are and their long-term goals. Like, how old are their kids? Are they trying to send them to college? Are they trying to pay for diapers? Are they future planning for, an aging parent to live with them, or buy them a home, or plan a child's wedding, or plan their own wedding, right? Like they've just gotten engaged and they bought a house together while they were dating, and now they're planning a wedding and moving forward, and we want to have a baby, and like all the things. And making sure that I have a very clear picture about what their goals are and how I can back them into that. Like, I had a guy the other day, I'm doing a cash out refi for him, and FHA actually was a better option for what he wanted to do, better interest rate. And we looked through his debts. We're paying off a car, actually. We're paying off a big credit card. And he said, I don't want to pay off this other credit card, even though the payment's a little higher, because I have 0% interest for the next 18 months. I go, cool, awesome. Leave it out. That's fine. If that one's not hurting your goals over the next 18 months, let's leave it be. And that's what we did.
From educating borrowers to coaching up originators. Matt, our next clip takes us back to episode 90 with Carrie Gusmus from Aslan Home Lending.
Yeah, no, Carrie does a great job. Like, listen, if you want to grow, you have to get better every day. And she actually tries to train her LOs, be more successful. And like, she sets her originators up for success. And that's what you want from a leader. Help me be better. Help me get better. Like, I want to get better every day. LOs want to get better. And Carrie does a great job on that episode. Really talk about how to help your people, help your LOs get better and grow.
We lower some of the primary barriers, some of the greatest barriers that originators have. That's the focus of our training and development and coaching program. So the first barrier that people have is they say, I don't know who to call. But most of us take out our phone and have several hundred to several thousand contacts in our phone, not to mention our social channels and our other sphere of influence, whether it's churches or schools or kids teams or things like that. So we help them identify who their market is and help them realize that they know thousands of people. And what most people don't realize is that, and get kind of staggered, but go Google it or look it up on chat or something, 8 to 11% of everyone in America will move this year. And so you have to find them. That's the objective. First is you have to figure out who you know, because 8 to 11% of those folks are going to move. Second, you have to determine what is it you're going to say to them. There's many coaching organizations that will give you a script and say, you say this script over and over again until it sounds natural. I think that's horrible. One of the buzzwords these days is authenticity, right? And we've been teaching authenticity. I've been teaching authenticity for 20 years of sales training that I've done. And that is, write the scripts. If you say it more than twice, you're scripted. Does it work or not? And write the scripts that sound like you because you wrote them and they're things that you would want to say to people. And then we start to implement the more sexy things and the more fun things that they want to do. But having the discipline of knowing who you're going to talk to, knowing what you're going to say, having objection overcoming tactics ready and strategies ready before you get on the phone with someone, and then tracking and having the discipline to maintain that type of structure. 2
takeaways from what you just said. The sphere of influence piece, I think, is huge because, as you said, every single person with a phone has a built-in network in the palm of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things when you're thinking about who should I reach out to or where do I look for new business. Just go through your phone.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
Yeah. And the other one is that word you mentioned, and we use it a lot. I use it a lot on a daily basis, authenticity. It's great to have scripts. It's great to have a foundation and something to learn from and work from that is tried and tested, if you will. But is it going to sound natural coming from you if it's not something that you would say?
Right.
That's what I took from that. Is that part of the conversation you have with your LOs?
That's exactly the conversation. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. You're prepared for our conversation. You know yourself. You know the way that you speak. You know your pattern and your cadence. You took the time to learn about me so that you would know what to talk about. Why would salespeople approach any conversation in a different way or try to make themselves something that they're not? It's so much less stress. We can make making sales calls as stressful as going to the kitchen and getting a cup of coffee. Like, really, we can make it a very mundane activity by knowing our audience and then knowing who we are and what we want to say to people before we go to start making those calls.
Our final clip is from episode 61 with U Mortgage's Ian Twaddle. Matt, this episode was all about relationships with real estate agents, and this clip that we're going to listen to speaks to something that I know is very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, no, I love it because, at UWM, we talk about relationships, driven, not transactions. Right? It's all about the relationship. It's one of our pillars here at UWM. We talk about it all the time. So Ian does a great job. Like building a relationship with a real estate agent is the best way to earn long-term business. Just like what UWM tries to do with brokers, with LOs, like add value, build long-term relationships, help them grow. You help. Like Ian does a great job. That episode was awesome to learn and listen to, and so hopefully people get value out of it.
I became obsessed with helping the real estate agents, and I treat the real estate agent like they're my client, the same way the buyer is. And I think that really helped me generate a lot of business, especially with listing agents.
When you think about that, though, the fact that, not too long ago, you were not a purchase guy. You did not work with real estate agents. And to think about where you are now, what comes to mind first?
I mean, it's been a great journey, especially thinking that 5 years ago, I was like, what am I going to do here? Like, I have no real estate agents. How do you meet a real estate agent? Why would a real estate agent want to work with me? But then I started to learn, like, oh, not everybody treats the real estate agents the way they should, So as I got to know everybody and meet real estate agents, I learned, man, if I just do a really, really good job for these real estate agents, my name starts to get out there. And it took about a year, but it really built my name up quickly because 7 days a week, always killing it for every single real estate agent. So that's what really helped me build my business.
You have this mindset, this approach now of never stop gathering real estate agents. So explain what that means and how you go about it.
Well, I never chase loans, literally never chase loans. But what I am chasing is real estate agents. I want to make sure I'm accumulating as many relationships as possible. And I don't think of it like, oh, I want this realtor to send me business. I want this real estate agent. I want to know them. If they're in my market, I want to know them. I want them to know who I am. Whether they don't send a deal to me ever, when my name comes across their desk, I want them to know who Ian Twaddle is. And that's helped me really, really build up things quickly.
Okay, so walk us through your approach if you're meeting with or talking to a brand new realtor who you've never worked with before.
So I typically, a lot of times I'll come and they'll say, all right, we're going to, you want to put something up on the screen? And I was like, no, let's just sit and talk, let's get to know each other, make sure that we're a good fit, that you'll enjoy working with me. I'll enjoy working with you. I'll ask them their pain points, things that they like that loan officers do. The only real thing that I go over is our mortgage consultation, because I believe that is unbelievably important, especially in this market, because you want a confident buyer. And if you don't have a really good mortgage consultation in the beginning with the buyer, you're not going to have a confident buyer. And if you don't have a confident buyer in this market, they're not going to make offers. So
when you walk into an office and they ask you about your presentation and you say, no, I don't have a deck, I don't have a pitch, what does that do right from the jump?
I think it separates me from the rest of them. I don't come up, I got the 2-1 buy down. We all have the same programs now. You're not going to tell them about a program they've never heard of. But the person that they're working with, like me, I'm obsessed with making sure real estate agents are happy, buyers are happy, everybody has a great experience. I think they can feel that obsession from me, so they know he's going to have the programs. Is this the guy? We want them to know I'm the guy for you.
And that concludes our look back at Matt's favorite moments from our first 99 episodes of Good, Better, Broker. Matt, thank you again for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. Congratulations to you, 100 episodes. I enjoy watching it. Hopefully everyone enjoys watching it, listening, getting better every single day. And I look forward to doing it again. When we do 100 more episodes, we'll have some fun.
Can't wait for that, Matt. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Good, Better, Broker and helping us support independent mortgage brokers everywhere. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified about new videos, as well as your preferred podcast platform for a new episode every other Tuesday.